Welcome back, everybody. Once again, we're doing one of those videos that I don't want to do, but I feel like I have to do it, having the voice that we have here. Last night in New Mexico, the governor issued an emergency health order, which bans anyone from carrying a firearm, either concealed or open, in the city of Albuquerque, New Mexico, blaming it on essentially gun crime being a public health crisis. So that obviously is wrong on a myriad of levels, and this woman, and I'm not joking, I'm not being hyperbolic when I say this, needs to be arrested immediately for even attempting to do this. And we're going to walk through a video that came out from a press conference last night where she's defending this. Let's just watch this video here together and discuss some points.
If someone's got a concealed carry permit in Albuquerque walking down a public street, they're not going to get arrested.
I can make the point that maybe they should be. But your point is valid.
You took an oath to the Constitution. Isn't it unconstitutional to say you cannot exercise your carry license?
With one exception, and that is if there's an emergency, and I've declared an emergency for a temporary amount of time, I can invoke additional powers. No constitutional right, in my view, including my oath, is intended to be absolute. There are restrictions on free speech. There are restrictions on my freedoms. In this emergency, this 11-year-old and all these parents who have lost all these children, they deserve my attention to have the debate about whether or not in an emergency we can create a safer environment. Because what about their constitutional rights?
A couple things to unpack there. Number one, she said that because of an emergency that she declares, it's not an actual emergency. What happened was a child got shot. She can declare an emergency and then suspend the Constitution. That simply is not how it works. This has been tried before in American history, and the people who have done it, it's not fared well for them. Obviously, New Orleans was the most recent example of something like this happening, and obviously a lot of people had to pay huge fines, and a couple people went to jail because of what they tried to do by suspending the Constitution in an emergency. You cannot do that. It cannot be done. The framers intended it that way. They knew there would be emergencies. You absolutely cannot suspend the Second Amendment, and it is a civil right to be able to carry a firearm. The Civil Rights Act is very clear. You cannot do this under the color of law. There are other laws that go even more specific into this, but 100% cannot do this. She is wrong. She is committing multiple felonies by issuing this order. Let's continue.
All the examples you cited are crimes. Kids shooting at other kids, shooting from cars. So what's the value of the civil order? Why not just do better law enforcement?
Both. The value of the order is that it gives me three things. One, it says it's a statewide issue and it's a message to everyone to start leveraging their resources and arresting people. Two, the jurisdictions come at this, including with the DOJ restrictions, differently, without the leveraging and the additional resources, arresting, and where do they go? We got to make sure that everyone is bumping up their services. It's a message to the Metropolitan Detention Center. It's a message to the HMOs. You better figure out treatment. We have been sort of stalled out, to your point. This order basically says, stop stalling out, and to your point, just arrest everyone. Well, I also have to have the ability, I can't arrest everyone. There are literally too many people to arrest.
So clearly she acknowledges here that crimes are being committed and people who are actually committing them are not being apprehended. So of course she's going to create a whole new class of criminals, i.e. law-abiding citizens, with this unconstitutional order. That is what she's trying to do. She's trying to create more criminals after admitting she can't control the criminals they have now.
Madam Governor, do you really think that criminals are going to hear this message and not carry a gun in Albuquerque on the streets for 30 days?
No. But here's what I do think. It's a pretty resounding message.
So again, what she just admits there is she knows that no one will actually follow this order because it is clearly unconstitutional. It is clearly tyrannical, but she's willing to suspend your God-given, your natural right to self-defense legally through her power as the governor under an emergency order because she wants to send a message. So that is essentially what is happening right now. This came out again last night. This governor in 2021 also signed into law a bill, so it's actually law, has been law for 2 years in Nevada that removes qualified immunity from law enforcement. So what that means is that if law enforcement person, individual, officer, deputy, whatever the case may be, commits a violation of someone's civil rights in that state, they can be personally sued and personally have to pay and be responsible on the civil side of this, which is rare. There's not many places in America where police officers are held to that standard. Typically, the city, the county, etc., would be the ones actually paying the fine. And that plays into exactly what we're going to read next from the sheriff. He says, while I understand and appreciate the urgency, the temporary ban challenges the foundation of our Constitution, correct, which I swore an oath to uphold, correct. Allen said in a statement, I am wary of placing my deputies in positions that could lead to civil liability conflicts. So that's his priority. His priority is his deputies not getting sued. Next, let's continue on with the statement. As well as the potential risk posed by prohibiting law-abiding citizens from their constitutional right to self-defense. So obviously what he's saying there is the potential risk of somebody not being able to defend themselves as they see fit, and the potential risk of a law enforcement officer disarming them and then getting into that situation where they would be personally held liable in a civil court. So again, I think I probably rolled it in here on the screen, but it is important to note that there are explicitly 2 felonies being committed by this governor here. A lot of people right now are calling for her to be impeached. That is not enough. That is not the case here. Impeachment would be, great for civil areas. This is not a civil area. This is a crime. This woman is a criminal. She's committed multiple felonies in front of the world. I've never called for anything like this before on the channel, but this is the most insane thing I've seen, again, since Hurricane Katrina. And I am not like some crazy right-wing person out on a ledge here on this one. Even David Hogg, yes, that David Hogg has said this is unconstitutional and it needs to stop. Now, he probably doesn't realize, again, it is criminal and this woman needs to be arrested. Of course, I support every single American's right to have their day in court, be in front of a jury if they so choose. I'm not calling for this woman to be thrown in prison. I'm saying she needs to be arrested and punished for the crimes that she has committed. I guess that's really it. That's the end of my rant on this one, but it needs to be exposed. I mean, this is insane, guys. This cannot happen in America. This is like worse than Stalinist tactics. I mean, Stalin would have at least had it used an actual emergency or even created a false flag for an emergency. I mean, this woman is saying that an 11-year-old child getting shot leads to your Second Amendment rights being revoked by her executive order. I don't think so. So I suppose with that, guys, that's the end of my rant. Let me know down below what you think about this one, because I'm sure the comment section is going to be spicy in this video. Again, I've never called for anything like this, politicians to be arrested. That's not the kind of world I think we need to live in America, but man, there are exceptions, and this is one of them. That is for sure. So that is it. If you're new here, you like this type of video, unfortunately, we do similar videos all too often, so make sure you hit the subscribe button. Additionally, you guys can follow me on all my various socials here, because I've been posting about this all day already, and that's where you guys can see breaking news as well as breaking deals. If you've done all that, you're not seeing 2 to 4 videos a week here on the channel, make sure you subscribe for my email here on this link on your site. It goes out once a month, has all of the videos since the previous email went out, so that way there's no big tech giant censoring your eyes for my content. Lastly, Daily Deals email. Sign up for that. It's fire. If you guys like Second Amendment related stuff, guns, gear, ammo, optics, all that stuff, goes out every single day. It has 8 of the best deals that we find around the internet. If it's in that email, it's the cheapest, whatever the item is, of that item I've seen on the internet that day. So that way it saves you guys some time, because I've already done the price comparisons for you, and also saves you some money. There's also a good meme in there. Might be one about the governor in tonight's email. So sign up for that. All right, guys, that's all I got. Thanks.